Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you might be listening to this podcast. I want to especially welcome you to the weekly podcast on Priceless value of education. I want to welcome you specially. My name is Rice Michael Godfrey. Right. We've been discussing. We started a series on what is primary about primary education. And I did mention to you that this series is an attempt to understand once more the importance of the primary level of education, all right, to children, to parents, educators, and other relevant stakeholders who, at this very time, might be questioning the usefulness or importance of the primary level of education. All right, because I do understand from my last week podcast, I helped you to understand that in Nigeria, we have three levels of education. We have the primary, all right, we have the secondary, and we have the tertiary. All right. And now most times we do neglect the primary level of education. All right. In fact, I was speaking to a friend the other time and he said, do you know your first leaving school certificate is no longer relevant? And we got talking, and of course I do understand from the standpoint we're speaking from. But that also prompted, prompted a thought in my heart to really consider. If you say um, the first school living certificate is not relevant, so we might as well want to consider what is relevant. Now, the certificate might not be relevant, in probably trying to attain a job, applying for a job or certain things around that nature. However, if we have to really consider the usefulness and the importance of this very level of education, you will find out that wow, this is really priceless. Okay, so it's a discourse where I need us to understand once more the importance of the primary level of education. And I did give you a number of objectives, a number of importance, and a number of policies put out by the federal government, all right, of Nigeria to see, that the objective of the primary level of education is efficiently realized. All right. So in today's section, I'm going to take it a bit further by giving you a report on, Nigeria's primary level of education from the UNICEF Education Fact Sheet 2023. All right, and we're going to be looking at the rate of completion by zones. Of course, Nigeria, we have six geopolitical zones. All right, we have the South South, we have the Southwest, we have the Southeast, we have the North Central, we have the Northeast, and the Northwest. So we are going to be looking at the rate of completion by zone, and also we are going to be looking at the rate of completion in each state. All right. So I might be a little bit faster today. All right. But of course, you can always watch the recorded section, all right, or download the recorded section from my YouTube channel once you're subscribed or other media platforms. All right, so let me help you understand UNICEF. So UNICEF stands for the United Nations Children Fund. All right, this is a global organization that is dedicated to improving the lives of children and women. All right, women and children. Right, it was founded December 11th, 1946 as the United Nations International Children Emergency Fund. All right. Now, why was it created? It was created to provide, emergency food and healthcare to children in countries that were devastated by the World War II, which started from 1939 to about, 1945. All right. So this was why this is the basis for which the UNICEF was created to provide emergency food and healthcare to children, all right, and women in countries that were devastated by World War II. So in 1950, its mandate, all right, the mandate of improving the lives of children and women extended to, addressing the long-term needs of children and women in developing countries. All right, and of course, long-term needs. When you talk about long-term needs, you're talking about education, personal development, and certain integral area that will, on the long term, benefit the children and of course All right. So UNICEF as an organization focuses on five main areas. All right, and we are going to draw one out of these five areas to see how we can dissect what we are going to be doing. All right. So UNICEF focus on five key areas, which include child survival and development, which is one. Education is two. Child protection is three. HIV and AIDS is four, and lastly, humanitarian action is five. Now, the organization works closely with governments, with non-governmental organizations, and communities to provide children and women with access to, essential services such as healthcare, education, and protection. Now, as an internationally recognized organization, it is important to use their statistics. This is why I'm bringing them up. This is why I feel we can use them, as a basics of dissecting, the level of completion. When I mean level by completion, what I mean is what's the rate of children that goes through the primary school successfully? What's the rate, all right, per zone and also in the individual state? So I believe as an international organization, right, that is focused on providing long-term help or addressing long-term needs of children and women in developing nations, of which we fall into that category. Nigeria, of course, we fall into the category of being called a developing nation. All right, to provide. So it's important to use the statistics in analyzing very pressing issue around children educational level of developed and developing country. So we are going to use their reports to dissect this very thing. So let me show you what the report looks like. Mm, let me show you what that looks like. Um, so if you can see my screen, what you can see here, right? What you can see here is the completion rate. You can see primary completion rate, you can see junior secondary completion rate, you can see senior secondary completion rate. But of course, what we are looking at is the primary completion rate. So if you look closely at that map, you see a whole lot of numbers, right? On the Nigerian map, one for primary, one for junior secondary, and the other for senior secondary. But what we're focusing on here is for primary, we're just focusing on primary level of education. All right. And of course, there are findings also to all of that. There's a breakdown by social class and and the rest of that. But now, if I have to lead you to this map and tell you this is what the map is saying, I'm not sure you get the best of the information. So my assignment here is to help you dissect all of what you've seen, the figures you've seen on that map. All right, so we can have a beautiful, beautiful conversation. All right, so of course, I had mentioned to you the six geopolitical zones. All right, South, of course, consists of Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo rivers. All right, Northeast consists of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yombe. All right, Southwest consists of Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Oshu, and Oyo, about six states. The North Central consists of six states, which includes Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, and Plateau. Of course, as well, sometimes we consider, or most times we consider the FCT to be part of that region. Northwest, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. Then the Southeast, Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and lastly, Imo. So we have about five states in all of that. Put together, we have 36 states. All right, and the capital. So this is the breakdown. Now, let me walk you through what I feel we should now do today. So what you can currently see on my screen is okay, maybe I should go back here. All right, let me go back here. So as I dissect, you can clearly understand what I am doing. All right, so just hold on. All right, beautiful. That's how it's beautiful. Now, if you look at the left side of my screen, which might be your right, I think. Okay, what you can see there is the first geopolitical zone, which is South. South consists of six states. Now, the level of their primary level completion or their primary school completion level is about 91.83%. All right, about 91.83%. Now, this is the breakdown. Let me now give you the breakdown. All right, let me give you what the breakdown is. Yes, 91.83%. Now, this is the breakdown per state. Akwa Ibom has about 94%. What that means is that the children within the age range of attending a primary school, which I told you that very day on our first podcast, from age 6 to about 11. All right, the number of children who have successfully gone through the primary level of education completely and successfully. All right, the rate for the South zone is about 91.83 for as a zone. Now, what is the breakdown? The breakdown, Akwa Ibom has 94%, meaning 94% of the children in Akwa Ibom State complete or successfully goes through the primary level of education. And that's awesome. Bayelsa has about 86, Cross River has about 93, Delta State has about 92, Edo has about 90, and Rivers has about 96. To put that together, you have a significant percentage of the students or the children in the South states successfully completing, the first level of education, which is called the primary level of education. So that's a very beautiful one. That's an excellent report there. An excellent report. Let's go down to northeast. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Let's go to northeast. Now, northeast consists of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe. And northeast has a percentage of, as a zone, has a percentage of 51.7%. 51.17%, meaning 51.17% of the children there complete their first level of education, which is primary level of education. 51.17. That's about an average. But we'll get to talk about this more in detail. So let me give you the breakdown very quickly. Adamawa has about 73, Bauchi has about 30%, Borno has about 51%, Gombe has about 50%, Taraba has about 63%, Yobe has about 40%. And if you look at my 3D map, you can see the shares for all of that distributed fairly. All right, you can see that Adamawa has about 20% of that distribution or 20% of that completion. Okay, about 20% of that completion by the chart you can currently see here. All right, and Gombe follows through by 50%, Borno follows through by 51%, and the rest of that. I'll give you the breakdown of all of this to help you understand and appreciate what I'm currently doing. Now we move to Southwest. Southwest consists of Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo. All right, and they have put together. They have a completion rate of 92.17. Right, we've seen a zone that is now a little bit higher than the South zone, which was about 91.87. Right, so now we now have the Southwest zone that has a total of 92.17% of her children, who are within the age range of primary school, going through primary school, all right, successfully and eventually completing that. All right, let me give the breakdown very quickly. It has about 95% completion. Yeah, it has about 95% completion. Lagos has about 98. Ogun has about 86. Ondo has about 91. Osun has about 92. Oyo has about 91. If you look at the map also once more, you see that it's fairly distributed among the six states found in the southwest. Now let's take a look at the North Central. And I need you to be writing. If you're writing, it's very beautiful. You can take notes. By the time we do the findings of this analysis, all right, we can do them together at the same pace. We have North Central. North Central consists of Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, and Plateau. And that gives us a percentage of 74.33%. All right, 74.33% level of completion as a zone. Now, what is the breakdown? Benue has about 74%, Kogi State has about 84, Kwara has about 81, Nasarawa State has about 69, Niger State has about 59, Plateau has about 79%. Okay, Then let's look at the Northwest. Northwest consists of states from Jigawa, Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. Put them together, they have a level completion of the rate completion of 51.57. All right, 51.57. And when you look at the map, you can immediately find um, or rather, if you look at the chart, you can find the breakdown. Jigawa has about 28%. And now this is not figures are made up. This is figures, I got from, the Unicef educational fact sheet. That's my source. Very important to note that. And that is my source. I'm just dissecting all of this information to help you understand where we're driving at. Kaduna has about 71%. Kano has about 69. Katsina has about 63. Kebbi has about 39. Sokoto has about 36. Zamfara has about 45. So that is really beautiful. Based on what I can see, now we will get to that experience. And permit me, I said it was beautiful. Just surprising to see some of that. And lastly, Southeast. Southeast has a significant completion level of 96.4. And of course, this state consists of Abia, consists of Anambra, consists of Ebonyi, consists of Enugu, and of course, Imo. Now, Abia consists of Abia scored 94% in that regard. Anambra has about 99%. Ooh, wow. Ebonyi has about 96, Enugu has about 95, and Imo has about 98%. Now, what does this mean? Why do we have to go through the level of completion by zone and also look at it by state? We want to understand which of these states is having the best value in terms of the primary level of education. Because if you remember from, I think I should go there. I should go there very quickly. If you remember from our first class, I help you to understand that the primary level of education has certain objectives, and one of them is to inculcate permanent literacy and numeracy and ability to communicate effectively. And I did help you to understand that literacy talks about the ability to read and write, while numeracy talks about the ability to use figures or to calculate figures, at a very tender age, right? To use figures, to calculate figures, and all of that. And the ability to communicate effectively. It is during the primary level of education that children are able to, understand how to read and write, learn how to read and write, learn how to use figures, manipulate figures at a very basic level. All right, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. And also, this is the point where they are able to communicate effectively or learn how to communicate effectively. And I also think that it lays a sound basis for scientific and reflective thinking. All right, it molds the character and develops strong attitude and morals in the child. It develops the child's ability to adapt to the child's changing world. Okay, provides the child with basic tools for further educational advancement, of which includes in preparing for trade, crafts of the very locality. Now, this is important to tell you that if a state is having a low completion level, it already shows you that if a state, for example, is having about 36% completion level, what that means is that that side or that state will not have the best of the children will not have the best of of best of permanent literacy, of which involves reading and writing. So we won't get to see many children who are able to read and write. We won't get to see many children within that state which has a very low completion level, which has a very low completion level. We won't see that state or the children in that state manipulating figures, or we won't see the excellence of numeracy, understanding how to put figures together, separate figures, analyze figures, and the rest of that. We will also see children who will be sound in scientific and reflective thinking. Do you understand? And we won't get to see children who, of course, have a sound character, sound attitude, and morals, because it is during the primary level of education that serves as a foundation that all of these children are well guided into understanding all of. All right. So it's just so reconciling that I have to put you through all of this so you understand where we're going. Now, having looked at all of those data and of course all of those charts. Can we now make some observations? Can we now give some can we now conclude on certain observation? Can we make certain observation? Can we make some, inferential decision here? And we're going to be making many. All right, but let's start with the major findings. Now, from our statistics or from our analysis we've done, let me give you the overall observation. Now, there is a significant regional disparity in primary school completion rates across the six geopolitical zones. Of course, yes, there is. All right, there is, a disparity among among these six zones. Of course, you can observe very clearly that some zones seems to be higher than the other. All right, in terms of level of completion, some zones seems to be higher than the other. All right, while some zones seems to be lower, significantly lower. For example, a zone like let me check. Okay, yeah, I have them here. A zone like South South, which is at 91.83, which is significantly high, being compared to the northeastern region or the northeastern zone. You can see that that is really, really low. Compare that together. So our major findings number one say there is a significant regional disparity in the primary school completion across the political zone. Now, secondly, the southern zone, of which consists of the south south, of the southwest, and the southeast, generally have a high completion rate, with most states exceeding 90%. Right? If you look at the South South here, you will find out that the South South has a percentage of 91.38. All right, let's look for another South zone. Southwest has about 92.17. Okay, let's look at which other zone now? We've looked at South South, we've looked at Southwest. Let's look at Southeast. Yes, Southeast has about 96.4. So, generally speaking, the zones in the south have a higher completion rate, with most of the states exceeding 90. For example, if you look at the southeastern zone, you see that Abia has about 94, Anambra has about 99. That's significantly beautiful. You understand? Ebonyi has about 96, Enugu has about 95, Imo has about 98. That's really, really high. All right, that's very, very, very high. Now, what's the third major observation we have here? The northern zone, of which consists of the northeast, the northwest, and the north central, significantly has a significant lower completion rate, with many of the states falling below 60 and even some falling below 50%. Now, let me show you what that means very quickly. Let me show you what that means so you understand. South, the northeast, the north zone, the northern zone consists of northeast, north central, and northwest. In the northeast, we have 51.17 completion rate. Now, when you look at the states in the northeast, only Adamawa and Taraba has above 60. The rest has 30. Bauchi has 30. Borno has 51. Yombe has 40. What that means is that in states like Yobe, in states like Borno, and in states in Bauchi, you won't find children who possesses, literacy, who are literate, and of course, who have been inculcated with, or familiar with numeracy, the manipulation of figures and numbers. You won't find that so much in that state. By this analysis we're giving, you go down to a state like North Central. For North Central, it's a little bit improved, about 74.33 by zone. All right, and when you look at the states, most of the states are doing significantly well. However, Niger State is still pegged at 59%. What that means is that in Niger State, you will find about 41% of the children there, all right, 41% of the children there lacking of literacy and lacking of numeracy. Do you understand? You'll find out that about 41% of the children there don't know how to communicate effectively or have not learned how to communicate effectively. All right. When you look at the northwestern zone, Jigawa has about 38. That's really low. That's really low. All right. Kano has about 69. Katsina has about 63. and I think Kaduna has about 71, whereas KB has about 39, Sokoto has about 36, and Zamfara has about 45. This is really low, all right? Really, really low. Now, what are the key findings by zone? Key findings by zone number one shows that Southeast has the highest average among the zones, which is in 96.4. All right, with all of the states above 94. Let's look at that to see if that is true. Okay, if that is true. South, yes, this is Southeast has about 94%. Abia has 94, Anambra has 99, Ebonyi has 96, alright, Enugu has 95, Imo has 98. Alright, all of the states has above 94%, and that is so beautiful. And this makes the southeast highest average among all the zones, including both the northern zones, all the six geopolitical zones has 96.4 level of completion. What that means is that you will only find you know, about 3.6% of the children within the age range of the primary level of education who are not literate, all right, who can put figures together or put numbers together, all right, or who might not be able to communicate effectively or might have learned the basic of communication. And this is true. While traveling to Enugu during the weekend, I studied and I observed carefully. And I noticed from post to post, from community to community, there were many schools. And in all of those schools, you kept on finding, I was very keen on observing, right? I saw children coming out from school. I mean, the school had just closed during this period. And I saw the smiles of joy, on their face and the rest of that. Immediately, I can already tell that this data is true. All right. Now, no disrespect to other zones, but I'm just giving you what I feel. I'm just analyzing what I have here. All right. The Southwest has second highest average with 92.17. All right. And all of the states has above 85% level of completion. South follows as the third, all right, having the third highest average completion rate at 91.83. The North Central follows with an average of 74.33, with variations among the states. All right. While the Northeast has the lowest average of 51.17, with significant challenges in some of the states. So, of course, in our next podcast, we're going to be talking about some of these challenges and, of course, the way forward. All right. Why do we have a state doing significantly well? And why do we have another state doing a little bit poorly? All right, what are the factors leading to all of this? We're going to look at the factors that are leading to this and the solutions we can explore, that the government can explore in ensuring that at least in each geopolitical zone, we have at least 80% level of completion, at least, not just 80%, at least 95%. Because whatever happens, if you remember my definition or on the concept of primary education, I did tell you that whatever happens to the primary level of education, all right, whether positive or negative or otherwise, would have the same effect, we have the same impact on other levels of education in the same direction. All right. So if we want to produce a nation, or if we want to have a nation with we want to be a nation with high literacy level. All right, we must pay attention to what is happening at the primary level of education. All right, we must ensure that the policies that have been formulated in ensuring that all children goes to primary level of education tuition free is being inspected, is being supervised and implemented. All right, and basic amenities can also be provided. All right, so let me not jump ahead of myself. In the next episode, of course, we're going to look at that. All right. Northwest has the second lowest, about 51.57. All right, with some of the states falling below 50%. Now, state level highlights. The highest completion rates, all right, are those three there. Lagos has 99, Anambra has 99, all right, and River has 96. The lowest completion rate, Bauchi 30%, Yombe 40%, Jigawa 38%. All right, now these are the possible contributing factors which we will look at from next week. Then We will talk about, you know, the way forward on what we can do in ensuring that regions or zones like the Northeast, all right, which is having the lowest average, can improve. The Northwest, which is the second lowest average, can improve. Then the North Central can improve. Let's see how we can, help policymakers, educational practitioners, and all relevant stakeholders put hands together in seeing how we can help these three zones, at least bring them to a level where we can all compare them to the southern zones. All right, but until next time, my name is Rise Michael Godfrey, and I'm your friend. Please kindly subscribe to this channel, share videos, alright, like, comment, turn on the notification bell so whenever I drop a podcast on the primary level of education, which we're going to be talking all through the month of January, you are able to get notification, alright, and you have the best of our conversation. Alright, thank you so much and do have a